One of the most important measures for childproofing once a child becomes mobile, we figured, was to keep him from getting into the stairwell, which is what this door accesses. The doorknob cover is a little bit difficult to open for a child. A second feature is to ensure that the door closes after having been opened. We equipped our basement door with an automatic pneumatic door closer, as is usually found on screen doors. This ensures that the door will close each time we come up or down from the basement. Doorknob covers can also be useful for bathrooms, since drownings have occurred in bathrooms. Doorknob covers are also useful for rooms that have not been made child safe. Gates are important to keep stairs from being accessed by children. Gates are important both at the bottom and top of the stairs. A gate to an outside stairwell can also be very important to prevent a child from falling down into a concrete stairwell. It's also important to keep little baby fingers from reaching hot burners on a stove. Conventional methods of protecting children's fingers from burners we found inadequate. This is a guard we fashioned from sheet metal, commonly used in ducting of heat vents. Simply by folding the metal and fitting it to the inside of the stove, it was possible to provide much more effective protection. I fashioned the sheet metal on the inside of this guard to fit around the contours of the burner and to fit into place once the lid of the oven is closed. I attached two locks to the oven door and the drawer below to prevent the child from inadvertently pulling the oven door open, which he did at one point, falling down. If the child is strong enough to pull open the refrigerator door, having a closure latch is also useful to prevent him from getting inside the refrigerator. Hooks for closet doors can also be useful to keep children from getting into them and either hurting themselves or damaging the contents of a closet. Hooks can be installed on drawers that both prevent entry and prevent smashing the fingers at pushing inwards. By pressing down on the hook, the drawer can be fully opened, and then it pushes completely shut. Simple plastic clamps can be used to keep two adjacent doors hooked together so they cannot be opened readily. Sometimes it is wise to have drawers of plastic or other items available to children for children to play in, so that they can at least explore non-dangerous items. Sharp corners on countertops can be protected with corner guards to prevent damaging the child should he or she bump into them. Once a child becomes able to pull on things or pull up on things or climb on things, it can be useful to have such cabinets and bookcases bolted to the wall. fold-out desk is bolted to the wall. It also is held closed by a small strap which cannot be readily unhooked by the child. This bookcase is bolted to the wall. Small file cabinet is also bolted to the wall. Bookcase is bolted to the wall. Large shelving unit is not bolted to the wall since it is so massive that even an adult would not pull it over. However, the three units are clamped together so that they hold each other from being moved. It's important to cover electrical outlets to prevent children from sticking wet fingers or other objects into the outlets. Form of outlet cover. Individual outlet covers should be large enough so that it does not fit into one of these no-choke testing tubes, since children have been known to actually choke on such outlet covers if they're left unattended by accident. Once a child is mobile enough and able to open up doors, it can be useful to install a gate on the child's room to prevent the child from wandering out during the night. This plastic gate, marketed as a super yard, is typically used as a large size play yard. However, in this case it is used to keep a child from tampering with the computer and other desk accessories. We covered our VCRs with this plywood-like cabinet to prevent the child's fingers from getting into the operating devices of the VCRs. Additionally, this piece of plexiglass on the bottom of the TV prevents the child from tampering with the TV adjustment controls. The plexiglass on the front of the VCR cabinet still allows us to transmit using the remote controls to the VCRs. Many wires of the VCR are kept from the child's reach by being behind the TV cabinet. This stand-up lamp is bolted to the nightstand, and the nightstand is bolted to the wall. The piece of plywood is bolted to the back of the nightstand, and that prevents wires from the clock radio from being accessible by the child, to the child. This stereo cabinet is covered with plexiglass and plywood to prevent the child from getting into the controls. For electrical cords that must be plugged in within the child's reach, these covers prevent the child from actually reaching the prongs of the electrical outlet. Another cord cover box in use. This gate blocks off a room we were not really able to make child safe due to the presence of the fireplace in the room. The brick could not really be made safe with the sharp corners. Some brands of corner covers are available for such bricks, yet it's really not a safe surface. At 1.5 years, our child was able to pull a chair up to the window, unlatch the window, and lift up the window. And installed this window stop, a piece of plastic held in place by a screw. This keeps the window from opening up any further than that amount, which is not enough to allow the child to fall out the window. Screens will typically not keep a child from falling out a window. We decided to place all our medicines and vitamins and other tablets in a locked toolbox, which we keep up on a shelf in a closet. When necessary, we can access this box to obtain medicines and vitamins. However, they're out of child reach for the rest of the time. Even a climbing child could not successfully access these potentially poisonous items. On a couple occasions, our child scraped himself on register levers, which we then covered with foam and tape. Locking vanity doors with such plastic clamps can be effective in keeping children out. Another approach is to take all toxic chemicals and store them in a locked metal cabinet elsewhere in the house. It can also be important to prevent the child from playing in or falling in the toilet. This type of plastic strap can effectively keep the child from tampering with the toilet bowl, although the child can still be flushing the toilet at will. The methods described in this film to enhance safety in the home are not all inclusive of all possible ways that children can get into things and hurt themselves. In fact, it is important to be continually vigilant, since as a child's abilities increase, he will be able to get around previously safe items. An additional note that children have been known to hang themselves on Venetian blind cords. When the cords are in the down position, they become readily accessible to baby fingers and hands, and they can start playing with them. We installed little plastic-coated metal hooks so that we can keep the cord out of reach from the child once we open up the blind.